Good morning.
Good morning, December 31st, 2024, the last Cacao Conversations podcast for the year. Woot woot.
Yeah, so
Very
exciting.
exciting. I know. I got my lipstick on. You got this gorgeous dress on. Like,
Woo.
what? It's
So there's a story as to why I'm wearing this gorgeous dress today. So there's a sweat lodge in my backyard. I'm looking at it right over there. And so Chief calls me 2 days ago and he's like, I have a question. And I'm like, okay. He's like, would it be possible for me to bring my dancers to, because he does like the whole tribal dance thing. Can my dancers come and do end of the year sweat on Tuesday at your house? And I'm like, okay, what time? And he's like, oh, I'll probably be there like at 10. And he's like, are you going to sweat with us? And I'm like, and so usually I go to yoga on Tuesday mornings, but it was like sweat lodge or yoga, sweat lodge or yoga. And so I'm doing sweat lodge, but also note that there is our first of the year sweat on this Saturday night. So I'm going to be doing sweat lodge 2 weeks in a row.
There you go.
Which for this woman who absolutely hated the heat my whole life, and I can't say that I love the heat, but my relationship with heat has immensely shifted. And I know I can survive in the heat now.
I love that you call it your relationship with the heat. I think that's like so, I don't know, powerful, as opposed to like I'm subjecting myself to this, right? It's a totally different mindset, like we get to, right? I'm very, very jealous, just so you know. I really wish I was there so that I could participate and feel it, because number one, I absolutely love the heat. And I know you always say that this heat is nothing like the heat that I think I'm thinking, that whatever I think I'm thinking is not as hot as it is. I respect that.
Imagine yourself slow roasting in the oven at 150 degrees.
But see, like I fantasize about buying one of those like Nordic all wood circular saunas that you can put in your backyard. It's like 10 grand. Like one day I'm going to get that. That'll be my gift to myself one day. I don't even want a new car. Like I want that.
For sure, you're going to have that. And
I want the pile of
I don't know what temperature people normally sauna at. Like it's been too many years since I participated in saunaing, but I think it's around 130 degrees. So,
okay.
But if someone out there listening can correct me, go right ahead. I will tell you that I know what your biggest dislike of the sweat lodge will be.
Sitting on the floor.
Sitting on the sand. Not only are we on the ground, but it's also like, because in Florida, dirt is sand. So it's a sand floor. And yes, like I go in, put a towel down to sit on, and there is still sand everywhere. Like every sweat, I'm sitting there at some point going, there is sand in my mouth. How did sand get in my mouth?
Okay, that's an interesting new side I did not know.
So just warning you, but I envision one, because you do come back to South Florida from time to time. One of these times we're going to coordinate it with the sweat lodge so that you get to come and experience this.
Definitely. I was about to say we'll do it during a cold time of the year, because that must feel really cool. But obviously, being that it's New Year's Eve and you're wearing a very open shirt, there is no cold time.
What I will say is, like, it is so humid right now. Like, it's only 72 degrees, which is nice.
Nice, yeah.
But here I'm pulling up the weather just because, like, we need to know. The humidity is 91%.
The humidity is 91%.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Like, okay. I almost think I could drink the water. drink the air.
Let me see if I'm smart enough. Hang on. Humidity. Oh, it says here humidity 91%. I guess because it's a rainy day today, so that makes sense.
Oh,
But
yes.
it's only 51. I thought it was going to be much colder for Christmas and New Year's, but it's not.
I was gonna say, did my camera I think
The
my
sun.
camera's humid. Here.
Woo! There's your New Year's Eve disco ball. You just have the sun.
No, it's just the sun.
It's just the sun.
I guess no one needs to see me anyway. I give up. Oh, that's right, because the sun is hitting. Ugh.
Yeah,
What do you do?
This is the world's best podcast. Like, I know there are other podcasts out there that have like all this production quality, but they don't have what I like to call realness. Okay. This is real. This is raw. This is magical. Oh my God.
Yeah, you don't get any realer than Graciela and Julieta.
Yeah. Okay.
So can I ask, yesterday was not only a new moon, but it was the black moon because it was the second new moon in a month, which doesn't happen very often. And did you do anything special for the new moon?
I read a ton of different rituals that people do. And I honestly just went back to my basics, where I write down the things, I'm a 369, addict believer. So I wrote everything down and I spent time with myself, which we've had people in town for the last couple of days. So it was nice to do that. One of the rituals that I saw was take 12 pieces of paper, write down 12 wishes, and then burn 11 of them one day at a time. And then the last one remaining is, the thing that you should focus on this year. And in my gut, I was like, fuck that. I'm not doing one thing. That's ridiculous. Who does just one thing? I'm like,
especially not Graciela.
I'm like, all the things. I don't have time for one thing. I'm 50. I got no time. Hurry up.
You get to do all the things. All the things.
All the things. Yeah. So notebooks.
Yeah. So we had cacao ceremony last night at the womb. And only women showed up, and if any men are out there listening, men are always invited to the cacao ceremony. And in fact, I really wish more men would show up for the cacao ceremonies. But we had such a diverse, powerful group of women last night, and the synchronicities of connections between each of these women and their stories and their sharing and setting their intentions, it was just ridiculous. You're like, yes, the moon orchestrated all of this to bring this exact group of women together. And it was just such beautiful community and support. And like I said, these women were so diverse. They would never meet out there in the regular world. But in the universe of Body and Soul Ministries, they came together and supported each other in such an incredible, amazing way. And I have absolute certainty that the intentions that they all set that night are going to skyrocket forward. And
yeah. I think that's one of my favorite parts about circles is that something draws people there, and sometimes it's oh, that's a pretty flyer, or sometimes it's I want to jump off a bridge and I need to go somewhere where somebody understands me, or sometimes it's I'm growing and my family doesn't get me, so I need to go be with people that speak this language, or I want to heal and the people around me are not healed and I need a place to heal safely, so everybody comes with their own reason. But as soon as people sit in a circle, they just let down all the BS, all the pretense, all the nonsense. Every networking event I've ever been to, I guess because it's business focused, right? Which I love. I make a living off of networking events, right? I love it, but it's very this is who I am. This is what I do for a living. You know, this is how I can serve you. Da, 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 da. Like there's this little formula. And with circles, it's just so magical every time because people are like hugging and crying and loving on each other. And they don't even know each other's names or last names or where they work or what they do, or, you know what I mean? So like when I get in those circles, to me, it's like bearing down to the best form of your human self because you've let go of all of these other things and we're just down to the brass tacks of what it means to be alive, right? And to me, that's the best part about the circles. So I'm really excited to start hosting them here.
That's what I was going to say next. For those who haven't visited the Body and Soul events webpage in a little while, head on over there and check what's new. There's lots of events scheduled in Murphy, North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm super excited. We'll be doing most and all of the same events that, we were doing together in Florida. And then we've got our 2 big retreats coming up next year, which I say next year, but it's really around the corner. It's only like 6 months away for the first one.
So as of tomorrow, we can say this year.
This year, yeah, just in 6 months. That one I'm really excited about. And creating the events, number one, I wanted to do it here just because I like doing them. So I'm hoping other people will come too. But
you build it, they will come.
They will come. And also, this really, the longer I sit here, the more I feel like this is a destination, more and more and more. And I keep meeting new businesses and meeting new people and meeting new types of adventures you can have here. If you want to come and spend the day at the spa, they have that. And if you want to come and go horseback riding, they have that. So whether, you can fit it into your life however you want. So many people that have come to visit, I'm like, hey, you want to go do the town? And they're like, no, let's just sit here on your deck and relax, And I'm like,
your deck is amazing.
And it's almost, we're so close. We're like halfway. Well, not that so close, but we're halfway to getting it completely rebuilt. But sometimes it's just cool just to sit amongst the trees, That's something that I think will never get old, honestly. The nature and the view and everything. But anyway, all that to say, I love a good circle. And gosh, if you're listening and you haven't been, I highly encourage it. I mentioned to someone here, everything we do is a practice of choice. You sign up, you come in and you sit down, and beyond that, you don't have to do anything else. So if it's new to you and you haven't heard it before and you're not sure what those words mean or whatever, if it feels foreign to you, it's okay. You can sit there like you're watching TV and just watch the whole thing, right? Or ask questions or, because I know that and that came from my personal experience where I went to so many events that I was like, oh, I don't know, this is scary. I've never done this before, and that's as simple as like the practice of saging somebody. Like if you've never been around that before, it's, hey, what is that? What's that about? So
why are you blowing smoke on me?
Right, exactly. No, it's totally fair and valid, So that's what I hope all of these events do for folks is give them that, entree, and then you decide where you want to go, and what you want to do. So,
and this is like, I also love about this that, even like the sweat lodge, and I tell people going to sweat lodge is like going to church, but it's non-denominational church. And, everybody from every different, we've had Christians in there, Jews in there, Muslims in there, non-denominationals, and like everybody shows up, but it is still like coming together and recognizing that whatever label you put on each of us, we're still human and we're still one. And at our core, we are the same. And,
it was the Dalai Lama that said, every living being does not want to suffer and wants to be happy. And that's it. That's the bottom line, right? Every animal out there doesn't want to die. Every plant out there strives to live every day. Every human being strives to be alive and happy every single day. And what more do we need to have in common beyond that, right? To live
exactly
happy.
And then, with all of these practices, I always tell people, like, try it on. If it fits, keep it. If it doesn't, set it aside. And even looking at, over the course of my spiritual journey, there were things that, 20 years ago, I was like all about it. And like, as I've grown and changed and shifted, I was like, wait, that doesn't quite fit anymore. And I'm going to set that aside. And this thing over here that I wasn't sure about, now it's really good. And I'm going to put that on. So, I don't think your spiritual, it's not a destination, it's a journey, and it's going to shift and change along the way. And I just really want to put out there to everybody, like, drop the judgments and the fears and check things out and decide for yourself.
Yeah, there you go. Decide for yourself. I love it.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. Let's see. What do we have today? Oh, we have share a favorite memory from a past retreat or workshop. Perfect timing. Well, end of the year, I don't know. We've done a lot. We've done a lot of retreats and workshops. Did you have something in mind?
We've done a lot. And one thing, I don't know that I'm going to say it's like my favorite memory, but it just stands out so much to me because I did not expect it. But that first time that we poured the little bottles of water from the retreat and the women started crying. And I was just like I understood, like, at an energetic level, like, why we were doing it and the meaning behind it. And I thought it was super cool. But I didn't expect it to touch the women at that depth. And, part of it is like, yeah, it's water. So, of course, it, like, triggered tears, which are our own water. But, like, I don't know. There was just something about that moment that I was just like, oh, my God, like, they get it. They get it. And, and now, then that progressed to, okay, we're using this water at the next retreat, and the water, like, multiplied itself. Like, hey.
Yeah, I think we definitely get as much out of each retreat as each of the attendees. There is
Absolutely.
something so profound in teaching the things that we've learned and sharing them and learning from that same exact thing. Sometimes the words will come out of my mouth for the 20th time, and at the 20th time I'm like, oh wow, I just found another layer of meaning in what I just said, even though I've said it 20 more times before. And to see other people have that same realization, I think that's why I went into teaching, when I was a teenager, right? That was my degree, English education, because those aha moments are just so incredible, and they're experienced together at the same time, right? Like, I have one friend who attends a ton of our stuff, and every time she calls me and she shares a win, like, I'm crying because I feel it. Like, I feel that win for you. And that to me, that's my high, and when you're sad, I cry with you too, like, I feel that too. And that to me is really, really special. I would say one of my favorite memories, on the fun side, so to speak, is during our most recent, well, not most recent, but one of our bigger retreats in Fort Lauderdale. We gave everybody a big surprise at the end, and we had a surprise belly dancer, and we had little shimmy waist thingies, whatever those are called. And everybody got
shimmy waist thingies.
I think that's if you Google it, you'll find it. But it was really so amazing because everybody, at first I was like, oh, is everybody going to think it's ridiculous? All the self-doubts, right? Like, we're not immune. And then when everybody got out there and started dancing and feeling into themselves and like loosening up their hips, right? And just releasing. And it was just so cool and gorgeous, and I'm so excited. Yeah, it was really cool.
I want to shout out, hey Richard, he's one of our past guests on when we used to call the show Voices of the Goddess, and so nice to see you here. Thanks for tuning in.
Welcome.
So
yeah, we have lots.
I like the shift that we're no longer Voices of the Goddess. Not that we're not still goddesses expressing through our voice, but I think it does open it up to men joining in and listening in a little more, because we got nuggets for you too. They're not just for the women.
Absolutely. And honestly, like one of the most for me, one of the most profound effects that I feel when men join the circles is having this wonderful example of a whole man, if you will, sitting in our circle. You know, that men carry such a weight of stereotypes, and you know, they have to like be a certain way and act a certain way and, you know, react to things in a certain way. And when they're in circle, there's a magic about it where they get to just let that guard down for a second. And I almost want to say, like, be their mother's son, right? Like there's a difference. I don't know if that makes sense. Like you're softer, you're and for me, as somebody who has had so much over the top masculine men in my life, seeing a guy be like chill and in control of himself and just aware in the moment, you know, I'm not saying like, you know, put on wings and fly around the room, like, right? Like I'm saying like just to sit there and be in the same awareness as women and in a space and be fully confident. That to me is like the most masculine you could possibly be. That to me is more masculine than chopping down a tree and pulling a truck and whatever else, you know, because if you can be in your masculine and your feminine together and even acknowledge that that's what that is, that to me, whoo, best thing ever. I love it.
And I'm so glad that you're talking about that, because I do want to remind everybody that we do have a monthly men's circle here in Fort Lauderdale as part of Body and Soul Ministries. And Trent leads that group. And what's so funny is just yesterday he put out some words of, you know, like what the men's group is and why it exists. And like it's almost verbatim, like what's coming out of your mouth right now. And you know, I was talking about the cacao ceremony earlier and the women that showed up, but it's the same thing too for these men when they show up in group together and just, you know, shed all the barriers that, you know, the armor that they walk around with, you know, outside in the quote unquote real world. And so much healing and growth can happen there. And so I'm excited to see that men's group continue to grow and expand and deepen and all of that.
So cool. I wish I could be a fly on the wall. Like I absolutely love it. I mean, I love growth.
I tried to worm my way in there and they keep kicking me out of the room. So it's all good. It's all good.
It's all, just know the good work is happening.
Yes. Shout out to Vanessa, our regular listener. We appreciate your support and love you so much. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And Vanessa is coming to our June retreat. I can't wait to have her here in Georgia.
Yes. Yeah. You know, we're talking about that a little bit the other day. And like I can feel the magic of it already. Like it's 6+ months away and I can already feel it. I'm so excited.
Oh, yeah. Did you know, I know maybe this is a behind the scenes conversation, but whatever, we share everything here. You know, we have a Google Doc that we share so that we could like put, and so I keep finding these little nuggets about elements, like even though we've got the whole thing built out, I keep finding little nugget and I'm like, oh, I gotta share that. So I keep updating that document, and I don't know if it notifies you, but I'm like, Julietta must be like, oh God, here she goes again. I'm like, more nuggets,
notifications, which I forget like when and where this was, but somewhere along, like in some, online training that I was doing, like one of the biggest recommendations they had was like, shut off your notifications, like, because they are such a distraction to everything that you need to get done. And they're like, just shut them off. You will go and look and see the things when you need to see the things.
And they'll be there.
And so I did. I turned off all of my notifications. Now, I will say, like, I have gone back and turned on a few things that it was like, notifications that come from here are like more urgent and need attention right away. So, but it was such a, like, a relief, and yeah, and just getting rid of those distractions really makes a difference. So note out there to anyone, like, consider turning off notifications. Like, when I download new stuff, they're like, can we send you notifications? I'm like, no, you can't. Not allowed.
For me, it's honestly, and my kids absolutely do this as well. Like, for us, it's about the playlist. Like, I have a playlist I literally call Elevate Heart Rate. Like, when I need to get myself going, I have a particular playlist going. And when I need to focus and concentrate, I've got a playlist for that too. And so one of them is like this crackling fire type of thing. And so, see, doesn't matter what season it is. If there's crackling fire, I'm focused. Don't talk to me.
Love it.
Anyway, before we wrap up,
I do want a quick shout out. Cher said hi, and I just want to say hi to Cher and send you a big hug and know that I'm thinking about you every day. I love you.
Oh, how beautiful. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm so excited. But before we leave, I wanted to read to you guys from Whispers from the Hollow Bone. It is a daily inspirational type of thing. Every day there's a different message, but I wanted to read to you today's message because I thought it was really cool. December 31st, it says, we must always leave a place in our hearts for the unimaginably wonderful and the incomprehensibly beautiful. I'll do that again. We must always leave a place in our hearts for the unimaginably wonderful and the incomprehensibly beautiful. So
love that.
Take that with you into your new year. Everything is possible. Infinite possibilities. They're all ours.
Absolutely.
And thank you for listening to us this year. And we'll be back next year. And
we will.
Check out the events. Check out the
shut these two women up.
What's that? You can't shut us up.
Shut these two women up.
Not my fault. I didn't invent the internet. Like,
Happy New Year, everybody. See you next year.
Bye.